Hello, dear viewer. Welcome back. Okay, computer, ever heard of it? Some think it's sad slop, some think it's unbearably overrated, and some think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Me? Somewhere around that sliced bread. Today I'm talking about an album that not only changed music forever, but an album that took a glance into the future and said, we're fucked. An album that feels like reading today's news years before the internet came in full swing. While Oasis was still fucking around smiling and shit, Radiohead burst onto the scene and said, capitalism is crushing our souls, technology is destroying our brains, and the world is doomed to fall apart. And although you'd think a message like this would be thrown into the average Joe's garbage can, the world listened to Radiohead. They kept listening. This record didn't just predict the future, it captured how it would feel to live in that very future. A world where nothing feels real anymore. A world where you can watch an AI video of the President of the United States carrying the Vice President on his shoulder like a pet. It captures that feeling of anxiety and isolation, that sense that the world around you is happy, and you just can't keep up. Any of that sound familiar? You were pretty fucking spot on. Before we dive into the record, allow me to take you just a touch further back. OK Computer, released in 1997. Let's go back a couple more years, to late 1992. In that year, the band released what they now pretend doesn't exist, the smash hit Creep. Come early 1993, the band would release their first record, Pablo Honey, and that's when the track really took off. Kinda. Actually, the record flopped pretty hard, but somehow, someway, the track ended up on a US radio and blew up in the United States, becoming a worldwide hit almost overnight. Imagine how ecstatic the record label was. Everybody looked at Radiohead, a glimmer in their eyes, cartoon dollar signs over their head, waiting for Creep 2. Instead, the band released The Bends, a far, far different project from Pablo Honey. It was ambitious, it was emotional, and a clear sign that the band had no intent to ride the Creep train to completion. Even so, the band hated the idea of fame changing them. The idea of touring nonstop and doing 400 interviews genuinely concerned the band. Tom York said it seriously messed with his head, like being stuck in a machine that didn't care he was a human. Around the time of the band's release, the rise of computers and the internet began. Nonstop ads, online forums, a world pushing towards automation, destroying everything in its path. That is why they wrote OK Computer. From 1996, the band traveled to the countryside where they rented a, quote, creepy mansion to record in. Delivered a far different product than it would have had they recorded in a regular studio. What they created at that mansion wasn't intended to be some future-telling prophecy, but it was. In 1996, Tom York and the rest of Radiohead predicted the next 30 years of technology. Allow me to show you just how accurate they were. Airbag is the opening track of OK Computer, and it unironically starts with a bang. A car crash, and in turn, a metaphorical rebirth. Airbag takes something scary, something life-threatening like a car crash, and turns it into a cathartic moment for the protagonist here. In an interstellar burst, I'm back to save the universe. The whole song is this weird mixture of existential dread and profound appreciation for life, and the music itself mirrors that perfectly. To me, it's a song that sounds like your heart trying to slow down. It's a reminder that technology may be the future, and it has the capacity to help us, but only after it almost destroys us. Paranoid Android is perhaps the most on-the-nose track on the record, I would say. It's a 6.5-minute long tale of spiraling anxiety. Tom York said he wrote the lyrics after attending a party in Los Angeles, a party in which he described the people as rude and dead-eyed. At that moment, he imagined a future where the whole world looked like that, a world full of cruel people where screens replace people, a world full of people laughing and smiling while society around them collapses. As for the song structure, it's a pretty strange track. Originally, it was written as 3 different tracks that the band ended up stitching together into this masterpiece. It begins in almost a confused state, and the production only aids that point. It's anxiety right at its roots. The second act of the song sounds like a panic attack. The instrumentation becomes erratic, the vocals become strained. The third act sounds like despair, like the end, as though the protagonist has given up, accepting the fate of the world. It's dark, it's dramatic, it's kind of terrifying. Subterranean Homesick Alien is a track that captures the feeling of alienation eerily well. The feeling that life is happening all around you, but not to you. Kind of like being a side character in your own story. And also, it talks about aliens too. The protagonist imagines being abducted by aliens and looking at the world from a distance, watching Earth like a TV show. The synths sound so ethereal on this track, they really help capture that space-like feeling. The guitar sounds weightless, like it's floating through the air. The whole track is very dreamy, but lyrically it's about escapism, escaping the world and escaping his own life. It says being someone you're not hurts more than leaving everything behind. Exit music is a bit of a different case than the rest of this record. It's a song written for a Romeo and Juliet film, and in doing so perhaps fits the narrative of the record a little more loosely. The track sounds more like The Bends than it does a lot of this record. It's an incredibly intimate gut punch, similar to that of Romeo and Juliet. It begins soft, almost whispering. As the song progresses, the vocals become more and more emotional, more erratic. The whispers become screams. The instrumentation explodes. It's about two people running from a system that refutes their happiness. The final line being, "We hope that you choke." It's a quiet rage, buried under a beautiful melody, a song full of resentment for the world around him. Let Down, one of the most underrated tracks within their entire discography. If Existential Dread had a beautiful melody, it'd be this song. It tells a story of feeling insignificant, like you're just going through the motions without ever doing anything. The world around you keeps spinning, people change, and you remain the same. It's bittersweet in a way because there's an optimism buried in this track. It's not on the surface. There's a hope, a light at the end of the tunnel on this song. It's one of the most on-the-nose depictions of disappointment I've ever heard in music. The realization that life isn't all you thought it was. That you're not special. It's not a song that explodes in your face. It's kind of like a tire with a hole. It slowly deflates, kind of like life itself. Karma Police sonically sounds almost like a bad dream. Lyrically, it's a song where the protagonist kind of falls apart. He lashes out at the world. He asks why it's so unfair. Where's the karmic balance? This is what you get when you mess with us is an interesting line on this track, I think. Who is us? Is it the people rebelling against the authoritative powers? Or is it the system itself? The system that keeps everyone in line? What's so unsettling about this song is that the question is never answered. We don't know. By the time the track ends, it sounds like the protagonist is falling apart. At this point in the track, the production becomes distorted, almost erratic. It sounds like a computer freezing, like a machine crashing, and leads into the most unnerving track on the record. Bitter Happier serves as the bridge of the album, if you would, the midpoint, a shift for the protagonist. It's the voice of society when it forgets we're human beings. The creepy, monotonous voice hammers that point home. It feels incredibly impersonal, like it's just reading directly off a script. It tells the listener the rules of the new world. It says, eat healthy, don't be depressed, don't question anything, follow instructions, and smile while you do it. Decades before the rise of AI, Tom York created a list of hollow garbage and fed it to a text-to-speech program. It's scary how close this list is to our reality, where there's an influencer in your pocket at all times telling you what to eat, when there's an app on your smartwatch that tells you when to stand up, where everything tells you you're not good enough. An uncomfortable moment on OK Computer, and it's supposed to be. It's the sound of a human becoming a machine. Electioneering is also fairly on the nose. It's kind of just anti-politics, and it's not subtle about it. It's also sonically kind of the most straightforward track. It's kind of a standard rock song. I will stop at nothing is a notable lyric here. Politicians say that like it means something, like we can take their word at face value. I don't think there's too many people left that believe in politicians, but it's Radiohead coming out and saying everybody's trying to manipulate you. It's not a poetic song, it's not even all that deep, but it's a very simple truth. It's a fuck you to the government. They lie to us, they want power, and that's all. It doesn't matter who gets hurt in the process. Climbing Up the Walls is probably the scariest song in their catalog, if that's the word. The song is fear incarnate, I think. Not the jump scare kind, but the type that sits in the back of your mind. The kind that tells you the real danger isn't outside, it's already in your head. Tom said he wrote it about mental illness and the hidden panic people try to keep under control, anxiety itself. The vocals throughout the track sound as if he's holding everything in until the song erupts. Strings shriek, the song sounds like it's trying to climb into your head. Everything about it feels like it's about to shatter. This isn't horror for your entertainment. This is the horror that sits with you for your entire life. Genuine fear, the terror that looms over you. No Surprises is a song that sounds deceptively beautiful. A very sweet-sounding track about the protagonist giving up. It's the dark side of comfort, when being numb to the world around you feels better than living. The lullaby tone makes it hit even harder. It says, I'm done trying, and it's almost soothing for him to feel that way. It's the protagonist asking for a better world, a world where he can be at peace, and a world he can barely even imagine living in. It's brutally honest, and it's not a scream. Another whisper, a faint and solemn surrender to the quiet chaos around him. Lucky is another incredibly emotional track, this one with a bit of hope laced in somewhere. Lucky wasn't even originally a part of this track list. It came from a charity project, but it fits the record's themes perfectly. It shows that even in the darkest situations, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, regardless of how dim that light may be. It's not optimistic in a general sense, it's survival. It's about wanting to live, to change the world around you. It says, I shouldn't be alive, I shouldn't fight for this world, but I will. It's the only way forward. After the emotional devastation that ensues throughout the first 10 tracks, it's a moment to catch your breath. Even if only for a moment, it's a flash of hope on an incredibly dark record. Tom said he wrote this track after touring in America. He said he saw everyone moving so fast it looked like they were trying to escape something. This is the song the album leaves us with, the final message the band gives us on OK Computer, and it says, hey, take a look around. Take in this moment. Take in every moment. You're alive, and you won't be forever. The lyrics, hey man, slow down, are repeated over and over again after an hour of chaos, of anxiety, of terror. The tourist truly hits the brakes. The world we live in might be overwhelming, it might be terrifying, and it's certainly unfair. But we're still here. OK Computer isn't an album about how evil social media and technology is. It's about what happens when we let technology take over, when it replaces humans themselves. It's about loneliness, about performative happiness, and systems that tear us apart. The fear of being numb, and the desire to escape this fate. It asks questions we all struggle with. Who are we when everything feels fake? What are we without the machine? Radiohead didn't just write an album here. They held up a mirror to the future. It's not a comforting record. It's incredibly cold, and it's an honest one. It says feeling anxious doesn't make you broken. Feeling overwhelmed doesn't make you weak. Being human is messy, it's fucked up, it's uncomfortable, and technology only serves as a bandage for that. The album says you're not alone in this chaos. Everyone is just trying to keep up. We're all just doing our best. That's all I have written here. Thank you very much for watching, dear viewer. A real thinker today. If you enjoyed, please let me know, and I might do it again. It's been a while since I dusted off my analysis goggles, but I think I did a decent enough job. Take care of yourself, dear viewer.